Because the more you let people over those boundaries when you're not saying yes for the right reasons, the more you start to build up resentment. And resentment doesn't come from like 0 to 60, right? Resentment comes from 0, 1 mile per hour, 2 miles per hour. And then after you've let these things build up for so long, then you get to the point where you're pissed off at everybody because you said yes to things that you should have been saying no to. Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester. Today, I want to talk about, as it relates to manifesting, as you know here on this channel, it's about all things manifesting. I love talking about how people can deliberately create their lives and choose the way that they want to exist in this world and not have to worry about what are the steps that need to be taken in order to get there. So I share some helpful tips and hints and tricks to help you move further in the direction of deliberately creating your own world, because we only get to be here once as far as we know. Some people will tell you otherwise, but nonetheless, as far as we know. So it's best to be able to say, I want to do really specific things with this life. I want to experience that, and how do I create it? This is what I talk about on this channel. I'm really good at manifesting and really good at focusing and unfocusing if necessary. And I've been studying law of attraction and metaphysics for such a long time that I know I have something of benefit to offer anybody who's on this journey, no matter what point of the journey you're on. So today I'm discussing saying no, right, as it relates to manifesting. The idea of being a people pleaser. So this is not a very uncommon issue with a lot of people. Many people often deal with the idea of, if I say no to people, then they may be bothered by me, then they may be upset with me, then if I need something from them, then I can't get it from them. I know for a long time a lot of my people pleasing was centered around, if I don't do this thing, then they'll have an attitude with me, and then so whenever I need somebody to do this thing for me, I won't be able to get it done without some sort of somebody throwing it in my face that I didn't help, or somebody saying you don't deserve it because you didn't do your part, or something related to that. It was always based in fear. It was fear that just my presence and my existence was not enough, that I had to be doing something, I had to be in action or activity in order to win these people's, or whoever I was thinking about, approval. What it did to manifesting is that it really kind of deters your attention from focusing on, what are these things I really specifically want to create in my life? And then what are these other things that are optional that may be somehow slowing me down? And so like favors and things you do for other people are definitely optional. And sometimes if you grow up in a very strong family unit, you deal with a lot of traditions, people act like the roles that you play in the family environment are not optional. It's like, if you don't do this, then you're no good to us. And then, well, we won't even call and check on you. We won't even, bother with seeing what's happening in your life, or how a project you mentioned you were working on, or whatever. And what you have to remember more than anything is that if you spend more time over there dealing with people, and whether or not you are saying yes to enough things with people, you may be on the other end missing the point that you're saying no to yourself too often, right? Because there's not anything you should be getting involved in that you're not 100% invested in to some degree. And there are some responsibilities that we take on, like raising children. And someone might say, well, I'm only 90% invested in that, and I still do it anyway. But with that sort of attitude, that lackluster approach, you're not getting anything you really specifically want. So some things where you need to give it more of your attention because it's a situation you've created, and so you need to resolve it, and you need to work with it. Those are the times where you find the 100%. You look at really specific outcomes that you want to have in your life, and then you line them up with a current responsibility that you're already working on. So when you're serving these people, like your children or your mates or whatever, it comes off as a part of your plan as opposed to something that you're saying yes to when you would prefer to say no to it. You're looking at it from a big picture, right? People pleasing is very, very addictive, because sometimes we like the feedback that we get from other people that we're doing a good job, or that they're, happy that we accomplished something, or they're, they didn't have anyone else to help them in this hard time of need, and look at you, you came through, right? Or you are seen as a person in your circles or your family as unhelpful, a non-contributor, or unable to contend with the family traditions. You may be one of those people. I found myself in that position several times. And so when someone from the family asks you a really specific thing that is outside of your wheelhouse or your personality, but you're kind of shocked that they came to you for it, you may give in too much. You may say yes too much because you're so happy and excited that somebody is seeing a value in you on one end. But on the other end is, what are your motivations for doing it? Why are you saying yes to this particular task? Are you saying yes because it's something that you really want to do? Or are you saying yes because you want to be seen as the person who's available to offer these specific, these really specific types of favors to others, right? And this happens a lot with money. If someone in the family knows you as being a really tight person, or they're tight, they're stingy, they're miserly, they don't give up anything. And, after a while, people won't ask you for money because they feel like, that's who you are, and why even go there because I'm not going to get anything from them, right? And then, years later, someone just pops up from the family unit or the friend circle, and they say, "Ooh, can I borrow this money? I really, really need it." And you're just like, look, they saw me as a person who could fulfill this need. They don't see me as stingy and miserly as I always thought I was, but I thought that people saw me. Let me say yes to this thing, and it becomes a thing, right? Because you're saying no to yourself because it's not something that you really want to do, because you don't really like where the money is going or what you're contributing to. Or you're saying, yes to someone else at the same time. It's like a seesaw. And you want to get to in life where you have these yeses and nos, where it's more like when a seesaw is even, so it's balanced on both sides, right? You don't want to get to where you saying yes put you all the way down here and put someone else up here, or you saying no does the opposite effect too, right? You want to make sure that you are taking care of the responsibilities that you begin to create. That's important. But you also want to make sure that you are indulging in some level of self-care. A more recent thing happened to me related to, and that's why I like to do bullet points, because I'm really organized when I'm like 5 things, 6 things, but this is okay. Something really interesting happened to me when I was out and about with my daughters. They got to the age where they want to go to malls and shopping centers, and I don't do that stuff no more. I can't stand it. I'm an online shopper, or either I'm in the middle of the day, during the middle of the week, when the elderly people are walking around the mall for fitness. That's when I'm going in there to go grab something that I really need. But as far as hanging out on a Saturday or a Sunday, that is completely outside of my wheelhouse these days. It is completely counterintuitive to my energy. I don't like the crowds. I don't like the mix of people out on Saturdays and Sundays. It is not what I do. I have nothing against people that do it. I don't care. But it is not what I do. And I said no over and over and over again, but they were like, please, we want to go to this specific store and all this kind of stuff. And I finally said yes. When I said yes, I was giving a big, huge, fat no to myself. And I had all of this negative energy I was trying to suppress to just go ahead and, be that mom that can fulfill all the needs that the children have, right? Because you tend to do that when you don't have the same exact support on the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to the other side of the equation. Mother, father, So you just let me fill in all the gaps. Well, that's not possible. You can fill in a lot of gaps, but you can't fill in all the gaps. And so I, went out here, and it was just not fun for me. And so I was like, I don't want to buy anything. I don't want to look at anything, but I was trying to indulge them, and they really just wanted to meander. And I'm like, is there something y'all are looking for? Is something you really want? But it all boils down to, it should have been a no, and it should have been, what else would you all like to do? That is not something that I'm capable of participating in on the weekends. We can do it during the week. Maybe we'll take a day off school and we'll do a bunch of girl things, or we'll do it after school one day during the middle of the week. But going to malls on the weekends and shopping centers, that's not really something that I'm going to be okay with. Simple as that. I didn't do that, and I got negative energy everywhere we went that day. It was terrible. It was terrible. This lady, fling a mask in my face at this one store. You need to put this on. I'm just like, get away, get away. People were too close, everything, I was looking for like one pair of pants. I was like, well, let me try to find something. They weren't in stock. It was just one thing after the other. And it got really, really hot. And I was just like, why am I doing this? I got really infuriated. And I was mostly angry with the fact that I did not say no and respect my own boundaries, because we tend to do that, and it does not work for us, and it does not work for the people that we think we're doing the favor for, because they're not going to enjoy it either. But if you had said, no, we can go do something else, you want to check out the library, that's usually empty on the weekends. You want to check out, Target, that's usually not that bad on the weekends. You want to go to the park, that's usually wide open, nice space. Want to go visit the lake, we can do that. We can go to the nature trail, we can go to the museum. We can do a lot of things that don't include the type of energy I receive when I'm out and about on a Saturday or a Sunday trying to go to a shopping center. You have to remember that when you say yes, it needs to be in full alignment, because you're like this towards your manifestations, right? You're going in one straight line. You're not paying attention to the things that don't matter. You're minding your own business. You're moving in silence. You're not spending time on people that don't believe in your ideas and your mindset and where you're heading on in life. And it's making a real clear path for you. It's making a real clean and clear path. And so your yeses and your nos are so important to that, because they can take you off path. So here's me going along the line of manifestation. I'm in the flow. Everything's going great. I said yes to something that I should have said no in. And here, now I'm left, right? And I took like 3 or 4 days to get all the way back on track and recover from the energy that I built up in a negative space in order to be here today presenting this video, right? And while we get some positive things out of it, if you do not have to deter, you can go to that point with a much smoother and happier ride, right? So stop people pleasing. Stop worrying about if people are gonna like you or not like you if you say no to something, because if it doesn't serve you, then it's no good. If it doesn't serve you, then it's not really serving them, because the favor wasn't done in good faith. You're not happy to do it. It's not positive energy. It's not good for anybody. And everybody should have the ability to do that. I don't do commencements. I told this to my family several times. I can't stand commencements. I have been going to my own commencements. I went one time and I remembered why I never wanted to go again. I can't stand sitting in the line waiting for them to hand over. It's fine. I'm great. I'm happy. I got the degree. I am happy with that. That is the victory to me. I don't need celebrations, parties. I don't need to do any of that. Commencements, no. And so when people graduate from things in my family, I will come to your get together and your party, but I'm not about to sit there in an auditorium at a commencement. And that is my right, and that is my business to not participate in commencements. You have to get like that, because the more you let people over those boundaries when you're not saying yes for the right reasons, the more you start to build up resentment. And resentment doesn't come from like 0 to 60, right? Resentment comes from 0, 1 mile per hour, 2 miles per hour. And then after you've let these things build up for so long, then you get to the point where you're pissed off at everybody because you said yes to things that you should have been saying no to. It's as simple as that. And now you're like way over here, off in another state. You got to get back on the road and get back in alignment again. And you don't want to have to do all that. So anyway, I'm going to get back to work now, because I love my new position that I'm working, my new job. I love my career. I love that it was built in pure creative energy, and it is exactly where it should be. And I'm excited that it actually played out the way that it has. And I'm so grateful for all of the freedom that comes along with it. And so it's a testimony that you can design and create the life you choose, should you choose to do that. So keep on master manifesting, and stop people pleasing, and check out my book, Stop Waiting. It'll be in the links below the video, and a little picture at the very end. I'm sure I'll stick that on the videos. If I don't, maybe I will. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Keep shining and enjoy your weekend. And say no when necessary.